Hey guys, welcome back to Valkyrie Pursuit. Today I'm going to be showing you some video that I've collected over the course of the past couple months. And yeah, lots of good chases. So we'll get into it here. I see this, this was at the very beginning. This might have been one of her first hunts. I just found this footage. I see the squirrel, call the bird over. She chases it in the tree. Normally, like the progression for, a squirrel hawk is that, first they're looking and then chase it all the way down to the ground. She sees it in the tree, almost grabs it, gets super close. And then when the squirrel is going down a vine, again, really close to grabbing it. That would have been spectacular. This was one of her first hunts. Normally a bird would look for the squirrels on the ground first, and then eventually she'd see it run up into a tree. But this bird knew what she was doing from the get-go, so she probably caught some squirrels when she was out in the wild.
Oh, that's badass.
And she's been flying really good, strong, vigorous flyer, taking high perches. Lots of flights like that at the beginning, these sort of longer flights at squirrels on the ground. Here, I think this was a rabbit flush. I like to use my flushing stick as a javelin sometimes to try to flush out the squirrels from the nests. Again, she's chasing them at the tops of the trees. This was a little later on when the leaves had fallen. I took her to Napa, and that kind of messed her up a little bit, just being in the car that long. But this is when she was back, and she's getting right back into it. Taking a new bird to Napa could be a little tricky sometimes, but it was a good experience. We got her some slips. She didn't catch anything while she was there, but it's good to be back home. I'll just say that. And lots more game home here than in Oklahoma. So here she takes a flight. I see a squirrel. She's kind of out of position on this one. But it was interesting seeing how the squirrel evades. This squirrel had seen the bird as well. So it'll kind of jump from tree to tree, and it's going somewhere. Squirrels don't run away, they run to. So it has a really good understanding of the environment, where it can be safe. So you see it's approaching this nest, but it decides, as you'll see in a second, that there's an even better, safer space in the tree next to it. And so she gets into a hole there, and she's safe. So again, birds learning that me shaking vines means that there's likely to be a squirrel in the tree. So she's starting to learn to look when I start shaking those vines. Yeah, one thing that she'll get better with over time is kind of persisting on the chase after that sort of first flight in the tree. Sometimes I've noticed that she'll take one flight at the squirrel in the tree, it'll move around to the other side. I'll shake the vines and do whatever I can, but she kind of like doesn't see it and then gives up and flies off. So she'll get better with that. Again, this is a good example of a squirrely tree, that big one right there, the squirrel nest in it. If there were vines, lots of vines, that would make it even squirrelier. And she comes in hard at this squirrel, nearly grabs it. She actually goes in and tries to grab it on the underside of the tree and kind of loops around that limb, which is pretty impressive, but got away. Squirrels are a really tough quarry. It's sort of I think the moral of this video is that squirrels are just tough. They know their surroundings so well. They can change direction on an absolute dime. So she took a flight here on the ground at the squirrel. My camera was pointed too far up, but she nearly missed it on the ground. Yeah, squirrels are a really difficult quarry. They're, I think, the most exciting quarry to catch in my experience of anything falcon. But they can be tough. She was really close on that one too. She missed a lot of squirrels by not a lot. Like, she came close a lot of times, and so that's why she's had this sort of cold spell for a while now. But I think she has a lot of potential as a bird, so I'm not too down on it. And like I said, squirrels are just tough to grab, so.
Ho, 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 ho.
Comes in at the squirrel in his nest, runs down the other side, she sees it. Now I'm gonna move over so that I could try to get the squirrel to face her again. So that's a tough tree, that's another squirrely tree. She actually, I think that's a rabbit that she's chasing there, which flushes out of nowhere. I saw like a white tail, it might have been a squirrel, but she's acting like, yeah, so this is definitely like more of a rabbit type flight here. So I don't know why that rabbit flushed randomly when I was shaking the vine, but did, and then she comes really close again on this one. Here's a slow motion. The squirrel does kind of this jackrabbit move where it jumps up at the last second and then does this absolute like wiggly sausage, you know, thing as it avoids the hawk's talons. It's a good shot. Okay, so here, this was the other day. I hear the bird. This is a spot I haven't been in yet. I hear the bird take a flight. I go up to her, see that she's in a tree holding the squirrel, and she had some issues, particularly at the Nafami, where she would try to like grab a rabbit and then carry it, or grab a squirrel. Well, she didn't take flights at fox squirrels. She refused those slips, but she was trying to carry the rabbits. So I was really cautious about trying to make any noise. I wanted her to just be able to concentrate on killing the squirrel in the tree. And so I just kind of remained very quiet. And then out of the corner of my eye, I spot a mature bald eagle take a perch about, I don't know, what is that, like 80 yards to the left of me. And my bird is currently holding a squirrel. Right, I just read a story in the Hawk Chalk about a guy with his son where they had this like prairie falcon for 10 years and he got killed by a golden eagle. So that was in my mind. So I was pretty nervous. And right as I try to scare away the eagle, my hawk takes the squirrel down to the ground. Again, eagle is really close by and takes it into this absolute swamp of thorns. It was gnarly. So at this point, I'm losing my shit because it's not easy to get through this stuff, and there's also an eagle really close by, and just the frustration of not being able to get to your bird when you feel like it's in danger. And even though I knew that the bird was really close by, in terms of distance, in terms of time, it wasn't. So I kind of had to take out the telemetry and try to find her. It was just a swamp. I've almost there's some thick stuff, you know, in the Northeast. This is probably some of the thickest, and here I just take an absolute spill. Luckily, I'm not hurt, and I didn't break my receiver. But yeah, that sucked. I was just trying to walk on that log because everything else, as you could see, is just a sea of this crap. and my bird flew directly into it with a squirrel.
Ah.
It sucks. So I'm on my hands and knees and I'm crawling at this point. So at this point I can kind of hear the bells, so I knew that I was close to put the telemetry away. And at this point I was just thinking, like, I cannot feed my bird up here, because there was just no way that I was going to be able to walk out of the field with the bird on my fist through that stuff. So that was another thing that was sort of going through my mind, that I'm not going to be able to give this bird a ton of food. Fortunately for me, she was really good about trading off.
Good girl.
She didn't break in at all. It was a little weird. And once I took the lure out, she just dragged the squirrel out of all of that crap, which was kind of convenient for me. And then I took the lure out ungarnished, and she just dropped the squirrel and took the lure. That's a benefit of getting a bird super lure crazy. And again, I attribute that to not just putting the lure on the ground with a bunch of food on it, but actually swinging the lure and making her catch it. Right now, I kind of do it like you would a falcon, except the bird doesn't take multiple passes. It's just, you know, I spin it around and she grabs it, and then that's it. But having them catch it makes them a lot more aggressive towards it, which is good, because then you could just trade the bird off super easily like that. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Look out for my next videos. Bird is definitely getting into the swing of things, so I'll have more action to show you guys soon. Thanks for watching.